Rapunzel. I will start by saying that I don't remember the exact beginning of the tale. There is a girl that is born. It's probably a miller, honestly. They love millers in fairy tales. So let's just assume it's a miller. Right? This whiskey's delicious. So there's a miller and his wife. They are living next door to a witch. There's a plant that the miller's wife really wants, but it's the Rapunzel plant. The miller creeps over the fence to try to take some of this plant. One night while he's doing this, I think he's done this a few different times, the witch who lives next door, because there's always a witch next door, catches him. You must give me your firstborn for this weed in my yard that you want. It's a turnip! Fine, it's a goddamn turnip! It's a Rapunzel fucking plant. So the child gets born. The witch next door takes the child and hides her away in the forest, obviously in a very tall tower, with no doors and, that sort of thing, no stairs. The only way to get up, which, when you think about it, I don't know how she got up there while the baby was young. She must have placed a lot of supplies up there. But the fairy tale doesn't cover that. Oh, maybe the tower grew with Rapunzel. Years go by. Miller and the wife who had the child are no longer important to the story. They're pretty much ignored. Now it's really about the evil witch who's locked this woman in a tower and forced her to grow her hair super long because the tower was built really improperly. Am I wrong? Come on. Turnip. It was a turnip plant. That's why she's called Rapunzel. Years go by. I don't remember where the prince enters into the story exactly, but the prince shows up and he's looking for a wife. Like you do in fairy tales. Here's the singing. She's singing, he hears the singing, and he's like, oh, how do I get up there? I don't even fucking know. He sees her go up to the tower and be like, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair so that I may climb up. So, a long braid falls down, and the old woman climbs up, and he's like, So eventually, at night, he shows up. He's like, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair. And he climbs up, and Rapunzel, of course, is surprised that there's this entourage, which I have to assume, a male, which she's never ever seen before. Some strange creature climbs up her hair and into the door, which, based on natural selection and evolution and stuff, she is just somehow naturally attracted to. Yada, yada, yada. He keeps coming back each night. This relationship goes on for a while. The only weird issue comes about when she naively lets it be known that to the old lady who she thinks is mom and the trusted figure, and she's like, my clothes are really tight. I don't know why. Well, obviously, which mom has done a really poor job of educating her child. Probably because she didn't assume that males were hanging out in the woods listening to the code to get into the room. It's inferred, but never actually stated, that she's pregnant. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially given the education she was given. It's almost to be expected, really. Here's the part of the story that I don't recall. Maybe this will help. Yada, yada, yada. Basically, the witch figures out, like, oh, you're pregnant. She kicks her out. The old woman gets fed up that she's clearly met some dude, has to let go of her youthful child that she completely stole, and the witch hides up there, and she waits for the prince to show up, and goes, hey, Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your golden hair. She cut off Rapunzel's hair, and is like, I'm gonna fool you, and lowers the hair down. He comes up and goes, whoa, you're old and freaky, weird, and she's like, ha, you're the bastard that impregnated my daughter that I've kept in solitary. I think in some version, I think she blinds him somehow, and he wanders lost and alone. And somehow, because fairy tales are weird, there's some sort of like healing of eyes and growing of hair, and they realize when they find each other that that's who they are, because they don't recognize facial features in fairy tales.
What's the moral of the story?
I think is don't shelter your children from the world, or they're going to get pregnant.